brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Good morning. Welcome to Mornings at the Cabin. It's Wheeler and Ollie with you on your Tuesday morning. I know you missed me. I took off Monday. Well, I tried to anyway. You ever take a day off and then go into work anyway because, I don't know, you just have to?
That's what work will do to you.
Yeah, that is what work will do to you. It's time to put work in the hands of the workers. Let me tell you a little something about someone I know named Karl Marx. No.
I was about to say put work in the hands of the robots and we'll all go to the beach.
Oh, God, that'll be so good.
Standard minimum income for everybody.
Absolutely.
Robots,
I don't understand what people are so against this for. Like, why wouldn't you want a robot doing your job? Well, because then I have no incentive to work. Great. Yeah. Go do something else that you're actually passionate about.
As long as we as a society figure out a mechanism by which you could do that and not starve and die.
I think we can. I think there's enough money in the world in the hands of like 4 people right now in order to do that.
And don't they seem thrilled at the prospect of sharing?
Don't they just? Listen, I need $108 billion or I will not survive the rest of the winter. That's a
slightly liberal bent to the introduction to this morning show.
There's always a liberal bent to the introduction. Absolutely. We rarely go conservative here on the Mornings at the Cabin show unless we're talking about peanut butter. Now, I will not skimp on peanut butter. No, that's pretty liberal too, isn't it?
I hate peanut butter. I genuinely hate peannet butter.
What?
Yeah, I hate the stuff. I can't eat it.
What?
It's horrible.
No, it is not.
I can't have it on sandwiches. I can't even smell the stuff. It's gross.
Have you had a peanut butter and banana sandwich?
Well, no, because it smells horrible.
No. Have a peanut butter banana sandwich.
I won't.
A grilled one.
No.
Yeah.
The safest thing to do if you ever want ice cream and you don't want me to touch the ice cream is to make sure it has peanut butter in it somewhere. I will just abandon the room.
Don't know you at all.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Energy 95.3. No, wait a second. No, sorry. I got distracted. Mornings at the Cabin with Tucker and Mora. Pardon me, with Lekter and Wheeler.
We wish
we've been looking at radio station promos. These are always very interesting.
Yeah.
When they actually put the person who's like the whole joke, the face for radio.
Yes.
And then they have the people out there, on billboards and stuff. And it's like, that's what those people look like, huh?
We've had to evolve.
We have had to evolve. I mean, you're pretty good looking.
Well, I have my moments.
I've been on TV before.
So we're doing pretty good. Let's get a couple cameras in here.
And then we'll do we've got our Mornings at the Cabin photo, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but
we look lovely.
We could do one of the energy ones, one of the big FM market ones where they're just standing there. One inevitably has their arms crossed.
Probably in their underwear,
especially in a morning show. But for whatever reason, Maura's just dancing. You can't really see her face. She's like, yeah. And Tucker's just like, I'm Tucker and I wear a hat to work.
If your name is Tucker, you can't not cross your arms.
I think that's absolutely right. It's like, I'm someone's dad.
Yeah.
I'm Tucker. Tucker. Energy 95.3. GTHA. Serving the GTHA. But they're, oh, wow. And there's one of them in bed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Let's stop talking about Tucker and Mora.
I kind of want to keep talking about radio promotion. It's always funny. And
why can't they be wholesome like us?
Right?
Huh?
We're wholesome.
Right?
We have a family photo.
Yeah.
Smiling. That's right.
Hugging.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Very, very welcoming faces.
Nothing else implied.
Nothing else implied by anything.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's what I think.
Nothing. Okay, but there was a time when major markets across the country, and I think this is in the early 2000s, probably through the 2000s, and maybe even now, where major markets, CJ92, The Bear, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
They all of their people sounded alike.
Yeah.
They all sounded the same. The women sounded the same, and the men all sounded like Red Dog or Forbes out of Calgary. That kind of, this is CJ92, that kind of talk like that.
Yeah.
And it's very strange to switch. And that's why I think things are being syndicated across the country now, or Starbucks. It's
right.
We've been working this way for a really long time.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's so many. It's why don't we just have a few names that people are familiar with, and then just have the whole country listen to them because it's all the same, right?
Yeah, because we're all going to make them sound the same anyway. It's all everyone came out of the same school, and we're all you all have to sound like this. If you're a rock station, you got to sound like this. You got to talk about whatever's going on in the rock thing. I don't know what I'm doing. This is obviously very true. And then if you were on like a light FM station, you talk more like you talk. It's light 95.3 in the morning.
Very good.
You know what I mean?
Very good.
Yeah, very
wow.
good. So
it's almost like you did that before.
Almost. What are you talking about?
Wow.
The morning show. It's very interesting, and I think we've kind of found an energy here where we can kind of just talk however we want. Yeah. This is how I talk normally. There was loud, abrasive, and without regard to what anybody else is saying.
There was a Mark Maron stand-up bit where he talked about doing radio morning shows before his comedy gigs.
That's right. Yeah.
And he broke down like the chemistry of the typical radio morning show. And there's, like you said, the 95.3, the blah 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 blah, like the deep voiced host.
Yeah.
And then there was the kind of aloof girl.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, hey, how's it going, everybody? And she's like, the bubbly mix from the gravelly.
You're not going to believe what I had for breakfast this morning. Yeah.
And then there's me.
Yeah.
Laughing guy. The third guy has to be laughing guy. He's there just to laugh at everyone's jokes.
It makes everything seem funnier.
That's right.
I could say nothing at all and just be like, That's exactly it.
Oh, it's classic. We're having a good time.
We got a show. This morning. We're going to have a great time.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
I saw Us this past weekend. So
did you? Where were we?
I did. Oh, right.
Right.
That's enough.
Okay.
I don't even know. I went and saw it with a friend of the show, Nancy McNeil.
Okay.
We went on Sunday afternoon, and both of us had the same reaction afterwards. I'm going to have to think about that for a while.
Right.
And I went home, and I did some reading about it, and I watched some videos about it. Like, I haven't pored over a movie like this in a long, long time. Like, I saw Captain Marvel 2 weeks before that. I couldn't tell you what the hell Captain Marvel was about. I know I had fun, and it's like probably middle of the pack, probably bottom half of the Marvel cinematic universe.
Right.
It's still good. I mean, it's a solid movie, whatever. But I couldn't tell you what it's about. Us.
What's
I'm
Us
the
about?
same. I'm kind of the same way, but in a much more intriguing way.
Okay.
I'm looking for answers, whereas with Marvel, I was like, whatever.
Right.
Like, I don't care. But with Us, it's incredible. It's Jordan Peele, so like,
it's Jordan
Peele. So he wrote and directed. So it's visually, it's incredible. The writing is wonderful. He creates an atmosphere and the music is ridiculously good. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do other than just heap praise upon it because I don't understand it.
Okay. So give us a feel for the movie. I haven't seen a trailer for it. I remember hearing about it, which is why when you said it's a Jordan Peele movie, I was like, I did know he had a new movie coming out and people were pretty excited about it. I have no idea what it's about.
Subverting horror tropes and like really concise social commentary are kind of his trademarks in his last two movies. Right. And that's where some of his trademarks in Key and Peele, which was his sketch com show.
Yeah.
And so in Get Out, he kind of deals with privilege and the disappearing of African American culture.
Okay.
Kind of. Again, I need to watch Get Out again. But Us, so a very simple synopsis. Husband and wife, Gabe and Adelaide Wilson, take their children to a beach house, hoping to spend time with their friends. Their serenity soon turns to tension and chaos when a group of evil strangers who look exactly like them arrive.
Oh.
So it's scary because it's like a home invasion movie. It's scary because these are their copies are kind of, they're not really them. They look exactly like them. They share some traits, but they don't talk except for one. And the twist that comes at the end there's a twist in the second act and there's a twist in the third act. And so what it's deeply about,
not really sure.
I have to see it again. This is my review. That's why I put a question mark next to it. I was like, Us review, as in I need to go back and watch it again. And I don't think that makes the movie bad. I think that makes the movie incredibly intriguing.
Right.
I just need to watch it again to figure out.
I just have no idea what it was about.
I just have no idea what's going on. But what I do know is that it's incredibly effective. It's incredibly well acted. Lupita Nyong'o is incredible and will probably garner some Oscar attention around this time next year. And she has said that it's the hardest role she's ever had to do. She won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, and this is the movie that was harder for her to do. Winston Duke, who is in Black Panther. Have you seen Black Panther yet?
I've not.
Oh,
no.
God. I don't know why I talk to you about movies.
Because it's a fun bit.
No, that's right. Anyway, he was M'Baku in Black Panther and in Avengers Infinity War. He's wonderful. Like, it's across the board, acted incredibly well. The tension is amazing. The shots are amazing. The music is amazing. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I have to see it again. So that my review is, I don't know. Go see it for yourself, though.
I like that. Normally, if you see a movie and it's just kind of maybe the plot is just kind of out there and it's not quite hitting home what you're watching. That's normally when you're like, I have to see it again. I didn't quite understand it, but this sounds more like you understood it. You knew what was going on. You knew what you were watching, but you're thinking there's some kind of subversive underlying meaning that you're.
Absolutely, there is
trying to get a hold of,
and that's what I was kind of touching on, is that he like subverts the horror movie tropes, which he does, and he does really concise social commentary, which I'm trying to kind of hone in on. And I sound like an idiot, but you know what? I don't care. Go watch Us and tell me you know exactly what it's about, and I will give you $5.
Well, he's been doing such interesting things lately.
He does incredible work.
Yeah.
And he is, like, people are calling him the next Spielberg, the next Hitchcock or whatever. And I think those are fair comparisons, absolutely, because he's got some of those things. He can deflate and reinflate tension with a little bit of levity, like humor,
right?
Which he does incredibly well, which is what Spielberg does very well. And then Hitchcock, he uses music, silence, uses music to create tension, silence to create tension, and has really interesting shot choices.
Right.
So those comparisons are apt, but he's very much on his own.
Yeah.
In his creativity.
It can kind of go different ways when people who are, heavily involved in comedy start branching out and start trying to do other things. Like, for example, Judd Apatow.
Yes.
I loved Knocked Up, thought 40-Year-Old Virgin was hilarious. All of his just bro comedy movies I thought were very funny back in the day because they had a bit of a different element to them. It wasn't just douchey guys act like douches and we all have a laugh.
They kind of were, but
there
was a lot of improvising going on, and it led to a lot of really cool things.
Well, and there was also always kind of a more interesting growing storyline to it, right? A bit more of a payoff where it's not just we get rewarded for staying one-dimensional people.
That's right.
You saw Funny People though, right?
I did. I love Funny People.
You love Funny People?
Yeah.
See, I loved like the first half of it, and then it
gets depressing.
Yeah, it got depressing. It lost all of its humor.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's kind of his point. What he was trying to do with that one is just he was trying to make selfishness like almost likable. He's trying to make you understand how selfish a person can be,
right?
And that's what he kind of does, is that he kind of hones in on one aspect of I guess the male experience or whatever, growing up around those guys. Like in This Is 40, he deals with immaturity and being a man-child.
Right.
Funny People, he deals with a person who hasn't grown past being really selfish. So man-children are kind of his specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time being like, I feel like I really should have liked this movie, but it went on too long, and it just made me kind of like want to leave the theater sooner than later.
I got you.
And so it's always kind of interesting when you get those leaps of genres. But it seems like Jordan Peele's just been killing it.
Oh, he's crushing it. He's crushing it. And I'm going to have to see it again. The duality of man? I don't know. Better angels of our nature. Sure. I have no idea. Those are the things that I keep on coming out with. I was having this conversation back and forth with Nancy last night via text, and I was just like, I don't know. The duality of man, the Jungian thing, I have no idea. So,
yeah, watch it again.
I'm going to watch it again, and I'll come back.
Let us know what you think.
Go see Us, though, because it's incredible.
Cabin Radio's Morning Show Podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
MakerSpace, YK. You may have heard of it. You may have heard Rylund yelling about it at a bar recently, and we're like, what's that? Well, they're here now, and they're going to tell us vaguely what it's about. MakerSpace people, who wants to come to the mic? They're all gesturing towards each other. No, you talk. No, you talk. David is slowly moving towards the mic. Kat is closer to the mic, and she'll go first. Kat, what is... No, not what is MakerSpace. Who is MakerSpace?
That's a great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Much better than the second question.
Which is what? We don't know yet. All right.
MakerSpace is a small but growing group of individuals in town, really energized and motivated, I would say. We come from a large background of people.
Just to be clear, you're not getting a grant from us.
Well, no, but it's like, I don't know how else to describe it. We're just like, there's a lot of people with a lot of different skills.
Yes.
We have everything from lawyers to carpenters to people who work in the bush.
Yep.
It's going to be great. We all seem to like working together, enjoy drinking beers and talking and being creative-minded people. So I can't wait to get our hands on some projects.
Cool. So it's a communal, like, mostly arts-based kind of receptacle for people?
Not just arts, but creativity in general.
Yeah, okay.
And also, people just need space to get things done.
Absolutely.
People have engines they got to service.
Yeah.
People have projects they want to build. And we just want to create a space for people to get things done in Yellowknife, because it's really, really hard to build a shop in Yellowknife if you live in a condo building.
Absolutely.
You know, there's not real estate here for everybody to have their own shop. So we got to band together, get a space that we can all work in and create things. So.
What is going on with the old Johnson's Building Supplies?
Quality furniture, I believe.
Oh, is they use that for a warehouse?
They
That's
use it
right.
as a warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very much occupied.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But that would be an amazing location.
Of
That
course.
would be an incredible building.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of really amazing locations I'd like to fill.
That are all owned
So
by
you guys
similar
are-
folks.
So you guys are currently looking for a space?
Yeah, I would consider that our biggest hurdle is getting
Okay.
physical space.
Yeah.
Everything else, we can come up with solutions we can work around as we come up against those problems. The finding a space is that initial big hurdle, and that's it's the thing that makes this most necessary, is the fact that there's very little space in your life, but it also is what makes it the hardest to actually initiate, is finding that space.
What does your ideal space look like?
Well, we've got an ideal starter space, which
Okay.
is something we can afford. And,
Yes.
and that
Been
comes,
there.
in
Ideally,
comes in at a sustainable price point.
Yeah.
And, 20 feet by 18 feet would get us enough room to build 3 bays. And then people could work in those bays as they need them. They can book out a bay for a day, for an hour. And there's sort of different tiers of membership. So a different tier will get you the bay for a different period of time. And each bay will be very modular. We can take them apart and reassemble them. So, ideally one bay would have a clamp table for carpentry. That's something the cat would know all about and be able to provide the sort of knowledge we need to build that. We'd have another bay which would be a metal table for like welding and machine work and repairing engines, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then a third bay would be kind of a flexible bay. You could do whatever. You want to taxidermy a fox? Get it in there.
I do want to taxidermy a fox.
But these are the projects that people can't do in their kitchen table.
That's
and
true.
this
Right.
is what we got to provide
Right.
space for people to do. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
whatever you can think of,
Okay.
you can bring it to our space and you can do it, as long as it doesn't prevent other people from enjoying.
So it's not only about creating that space and having that space for people to do things. It's also about creating like a group of people. Like if I was like, I need a lawyer, a carpenter, and a painter this weekend, where can I find them? MakerSpace.
That's exactly.
We'll all
Okay.
be drinking beers
I'll be drinking beer in this space.
on Saturday.
There's going to be 400 of us in a 20 by 18 room. It's going to be great.
Worth mentioning, too, that we are, for this summer at the very least, not totally hung up on the space idea. We've decided to launch something we're calling the Summer of Skills, which is every weekend we're going to do a workshop. Doesn't necessarily have to be in our final location. For instance, this Friday I'm hosting a logo design workshop. It's kind of going to be like an open house. You can find it on our Facebook page. And we're going to start anytime after 5:30. People can drop by, scribble on some paper in my place, and learn about what we're offering for the summer. Okay. And these events will be hosted. We have places that we can rent for the day, shops that we can rent for the day. So we'll discuss where those go in the future, especially if we are able to find a space immediately.
Okay. So Rylund sent us a message on Facebook asking, if we would be interested in having you guys on the show. And we were all kind of like, well, we have no idea what MakerSpace is or what it means. And it sounds really interesting, though. So, yeah, by all means, come on the show. We asked him, what is MakerSpace? And he was like, well, if you've seen this place in Whitehorse.
I haven't.
It's like that.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't seen that place in Whitehorse. Are you two familiar? Or if Rylund, if you want to jump up
Ryan,
to a mic here.
I'm going to jump in. I feel like I'm only hearing from Rylund on this. So
I think nobody really wants to talk about what a makerspace is because it's a very broad.
Yes.
It can mean a lot of things. Some makerspaces are just tech startups. Some makerspaces are they're just wood shops.
Yeah,
Some makerspaces are not based around community. They're based around exclusively making money. Yes.
So you want it to be very versatile and.
Yeah, and we're just in such early stages. This is Rylund Johnson,
everyone.
Rylund Johnson, by the way. Telling everyone else
Rylund Johnson.
Yeah, we're in such early stages that one of the big decisions we have to make is kind of clean or dirty, because sawdust doesn't mix well with coating workshops.
That's right.
So we've kind of picked that dirty side first because we know there's demand for people to bring in their outboards or people to work on large, framing projects.
Yeah.
Or, I want to build a sauna, I want to build a camera tuck, I want to build ice fishing rods. I want to do projects like that. That being said, if you get that space that allows you to have a clean space, there's plenty of people looking to do radio workshops, photography workshops. So we want to be flexible enough in these early stages to see what it can become.
Okay.
But if you go to the shop in Whitehorse, eventually from Canor got millions of dollars of funding, and any tool or gadget you ever want, they have. And it's created a lot of businesses out of there, and it's kind of become this little entrepreneurial hub, which is the end dream, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That sounds very cool. So that's kind of that's what you're modeling yourselves after, but obviously starting from the ground and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, and I've talked to everyone in town about this pretty much, and everyone's really excited. They really like the idea, and everyone has something to offer. Whether it's a skill or they just want a project they can do. So I'm trying to just create that momentum and see what it can be. And if it ends up being 30 of us renting a garage and hosting workshops and coming to your house to help you with something, that's great too.
That's perfect.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a need for it. Like you've been saying repeatedly, that there are just no spaces for people to do things, and then when there are open spaces, they are incredibly expensive to rent or own.
Incredibly expensive.
Yes, that should be the city's slogan. Welcome to Yellowknife. Incredibly expensive, but you'll get paid a lot too.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
We'll
doing things is expensive too. I dream that we can use this body of people who are excitable and like to work and exercise that kind of intention to help do community projects.
Absolutely.
I think that would be beautiful. I think the reason why I'm excited and the reason why a lot of other people are excited is because they're really community oriented people.
Yeah.
So
one of the threads I see here on MakerSpace, the Facebook page, is who in town has been doing set design for theater and film, and the answer is one person does set and theater set design, and that would be something that I would be very interested in, because I want to. There are plays that I would love to do that I want to build sets for that I have no skills in that arena. So having a repository of people to kind of pick from is that's a great idea.
Yeah, and there's actual, a lot of these become room to become businesses, or at least get one-off contracts.
Yeah,
I make a bunch of Dead North films, and we're always hammering things together on the frozen lake, and Jay and Pablo at Artless Collective, every once in a while need a set designer. Yes. They're like, hey, I need someone to go shopping for specific furniture, and then we could be like, hey, we could build that.
Yeah.
So I think there's reality for actual contracts to come out of the space, which, looks good for grants.
Absolutely. And isn't that what we're all in this for? Grant money.
And community.
And communities. Communities. But communities and grant money.
Yeah.
Give us money.
Yeah. You hear that, community? Give them money. No, this sounds like a really a wonderful idea, and thank you for taking it on. It's obviously a huge amount of work that goes. Building something from the ground up takes a lot of work. I have no idea where we learned that from. But thank you guys for taking this on. This is awesome. We look forward to seeing more of what's to come. I don't know if you want to invite everybody on air to your house on Friday.
Yeah, come to my house on
All right,
Friday.
there you go.
Yeah,
I have 2 dogs. One of them will bark at you, but then she'll lick your face. It's really nice. She's a nice dog. So don't come if you don't like dogs.
This is a strange invite.
Yeah. Come to my house. Let's drink some beers. Talk about MakerSpace.
Right on. Sounds good. That's going on Friday, and then we'll have workshops throughout the summer. Go to MakerSpace YK on Facebook to find out a bit more.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
We learned, obviously, I wasn't here yesterday to talk about this, but obviously we learned that the Snowcastle had to close a week early because of the melt. And then yesterday we found out that Long John Jamboree will not be on the ice. It will be at the Fieldhouse parking lot. And it's, they're still going to give her a go and get out there. And maybe they'll get a few more people out there this year because it's so nearer to where people are at. I don't know.
I mean, it's a little more accessible.
It's
for sure.
not, though. That's the thing.
Well, it is.
Everything in this town is 2 minutes away. The ice is 2 minutes away. Saying that it's too far away is just you saying, I don't want to participate in the events in this town.
Well, I don't think anyone was saying
I'm pretty sure people were saying, I will speak for people. But yeah, so they're going to have to put up the tents at the Fieldhouse parking lot. It's nothing against the Fieldhouse, of course, but I mean, I'm sure like nobody wants it there.
No, absolutely.
They're happy to be able to still do it, but I mean, everybody wants it on the ice. You want to be out there on the lake. That's like 98% of the charm is that it's out there on the lake. Twin otters are flying over. Skidoos are everywhere.
Yeah.
Dogs mushing, all that kind of stuff.
It's not an ideal situation.
It's not, and it's really a shame.
Yeah.
That they had to make that call, but they will still be out there all weekend long, which means half day on Friday. Boom!
Half day. Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
It's Carnival Day.
Right.
Caribou Carnival half day.
I forgot about
Long
that.
John Jamboree half day. I hope people will still take advantage of that. I think the city definitely gets a half day on Friday. Hopefully they're still doing that.
All the more reason for Folk Monday this coming July.
That's right. Folk Monday should
forget.
be a citywide holiday, even for people that say, I don't want to go to Folk because I'm a lazy person.
We're doing this for you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I mean it's a shame, but I think it's still going to be a good time. The beer garden's still going to be there. They got a fantastic program set up for us this weekend. Going to be good food, good music, and other things as we find out towards the end of the week. Yeah,
we talked of course, yesterday morning a little bit about the Snowcastle, of course, having to close early due to the unseasonable warmth we've been having, and. We threw around a couple ideas. Obviously, Long John Jamboree then had to follow suit because, we got to make sure that everything is safe, and having that influx of vehicles out on the bay with the weather we've been having was probably not a good idea. So it is what it is. They got to relocate to the Fieldhouse parking lot. We're going to make a good go of it. Obviously, that's a nice big open space. We've had events there before, so we know it's a good amount of space for that sort of thing. And I think Long John will do well. And we kind of got to make the best of it. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation, but. We enjoy the festival. We want it to continue, so we need to go out and support it. But we talked a bit about the Snowcastle yesterday when you weren't here, so I want to get kind of your take on it.
I was having coffee in bed.
Being the resident Yellowknifer.
It was great.
Obviously, there's been talk now, very, very premature talk, but talk nonetheless about what to do with the future of the Snowcastle. Do we just... go into next year, same as always, first weekend in March, try and go for the month of March. I mean, it could very well work out. We've talked about climate change and how it's a thing of extremes, and we may very well have extreme cold weather next year. Who knows?
I don't think you can take the chance. Not at this point. I don't think you can. They've lost a week. I'm not sure how much money they've lost. Their GoFundMe has raised over $2,000 so far, which is awesome. Which is great.
Yep.
A lot of people supporting the monarchy, which is awesome. But I'm not sure how you take the risk of having it in the same time next year again. Right. Yeah. Yes, we may have a cold March like we did last year. Last year was an incredibly cold March. 2 years and 3 years ago it was like minus 34 around this time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm not sure what they're going to do. Obviously, they're going to have like a lot of discussions about that. Yeah. I'm not sure how you take that risk again and risk losing an entire week.
So what do you think? Because as far as I can see, there's kind of two options. If you want to ensure that you have a full Snowcastle festival season, or Snow King festival, rather. Right. Either you move it slightly earlier, you eke into February, whether it's, you start the last week of February or maybe halfway through. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or, and this is a controversial opinion.
Tell me.
You take the castle off the lake.
No.
And build it on land.
No.
Those are really the only two options.
No, I don't want that option. I don't think anybody wants that option. I mean, I don't know where they're coming from. I imagine they don't want that.
I would imagine it makes the logistics of building the castle a lot tougher.
Next to impossible.
Yeah.
Like you'd need dump trucks and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got movers and things like that, but I mean, it's that would be very, very tough.
Yeah.
I would suggest, I mean, not knowing anything about it and speaking a little conversational French and being the owner of a houseboat, I think you should move it a couple weeks earlier, at least.
Yeah.
I obviously for the build that makes it that an already short season gets more truncated and it makes it more difficult because they're already working so damn hard.
Yep.
To get it all done. I mean, I'm not sure what they're looking to do. I think you move it a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And then just straddle the end of February and the beginning of March.
Yeah.
If not moving it completely into February, which would be next to impossible, I imagine, because of the amount of work that it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tough thing is that obviously you're probably not, in the back half of February getting that perfect like -10 weather that we all like during the day.
But now we know we don't want to flirt with that. We don't want to flirt with that. Even
-10's fine.
Well,
we just don't want +3 and
But I mean,
6.
like when you get into those and you got like a lot of sunshine,
right?
Like that sun beats down real hard. Even if it's -10, it can still be tough,
right?
To keep up the integrity of snow and ice.
Yeah,
it can get
drop down to
foggy.
-20 at
right?
night.
I mean that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why can't we just have ideal weather conditions all of the time?
Because the planet.
That's a rhetorical question.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't like your rhetoric. Yeah, so it's that's a shame. Do we have word on what they're doing with the ice carvings?
That is a very good question. I think that's kind of a information is forthcoming sort of thing right now.
Because that's going to be a lot tougher, right? Because I mean, you got to move everything over there and then start carving again.
Yeah. So a lot of extra work having to be done now. But again, let's all make the best of it. That's really all we can do at this point.
Absolutely,
just go out and enjoy the weekend and support the festival.
So go out this weekend, Long John Jamboree at the Fieldhouse parking lot. For a lot of you, it's going to be a lot more accessible. For others, it's a little bit of a letdown. But like Scott said, we'll make the best of it. We're Yellowknifers, after all. It's kind of how we do.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.